Hi, welcome back to Let's Draw. For this episode, I wanted to show you how to draw a rainbow trout. So I've been very busy uh, going down to the river trying to catch one. Unfortunately, it's been probably 8 times since I've caught a fish. And while that's unusual, I enjoy fishing and I would say besides drawing, it's my second most favorite thing to do. So as you can see, this painting I did of myself, that's called a self-portrait, by the way. Um, you can see that I've got a fish in hand. That's a pike. It's a different species of fish, but um, I painted myself smiling in this self-portrait. It wasn't a serious kind of typical artist portrait, but the reason I painted myself smiling is because besides fishing, I would say, or besides drawing, I would say fishing is when I am happiest. And I am really happy when I actually get a fish into the boat or onto the bank or in my. I noticed from some of the drawings you've been posting and sending me, like the husky drawings, for example, that you did last episode. This is how you feel and look in your photographs. You're really happy and proud of what you did. Okay, enough talking. Let's draw a rainbow trout. And today we're just going to draw the head of a trout. So you're just going to have a it's almost going to be like a triangle, kind of oval shaped on the edge for the big shape. And then I had to go into my old photos, like from last summer, to find a photo. I am working from my own photos when I'm doing these drawings. And I had to go back to my old photos to find a picture of a trout. You might notice that normally I just draw the heads of the animals that what we're drawing because, well, I'm a portrait artist. So I paint a lot of people's portraits and whatnot. I'm most interested, I think, in probably the faces of people or the faces of animals and whatnot. If you guys want to look up a really, really excellent fish painter, my friend Carl Geist is probably the greatest fish painter in the world right now. He works at the Alberta University of the Arts in Calgary, and he is not only a fantastic fisherman but painter of fish. I don't think there's anybody like him. And I've known Carl for 40 years because I met him on the Bow River when we were teenagers in the middle of December or January. I just got a fly rod for my birthday from my dad, I think, bought me a fly rod, and I was about 15, and it's really cold day. There's ice on the river, and I'm sure we were the only two people around that thought it would be a good idea to go out fishing when it's snowing on the ice and everything. And there was Carl standing in the middle of the river fishing for brown trout. And he showed me what he was doing, and ever since then I've been hooked on fishing in the Bow River and fly fishing. And he's an incredible fisherman as well as a fish artist. if you ever are fishing in Alberta, Carl is the one that draws all the fishing regulations. So all the fish that you see, all the different species, he draws those. Okay, so we got kind of a circle. Maybe this is a little too big. Right. Now this particular fish that I caught, rainbow trout, I held him in my hand, and you know, he was in the net, and I brought him out on the bank and I took a couple pictures of him and then released him. My preference is to catch fish to eat. It always has been, but in the rivers around here, they've been polluted, like the Bow River, that you couldn't eat what you catch. And I'm hoping that with this COVID virus that, you know, less people will be washing their cars, there'll be less soap going into the river, and pollution that affects the fish. Maybe one day we'll be eating trout out of the river again, and that would be tremendously good and healthy. There's no healthier food than fish. So I'm kind of drawing its gills right now. I'll put a picture on the screen in a minute to show you what I'm working from, because you can't believe the colors of a rainbow trout. They've got every color in them, and you know, if you were to do a painting of one, watercolor and whatnot, like Carl does, and sometimes I do, you can get, it's just amazing to do with color. But as I said, I want you to become very good at with your drawing. Your drawing skills will carry you through in other aspects of your life, whether you're going to be a tradesperson or you're going to be an architect or whatever. It's really good if you can just draw something out for somebody to see, like, quite easily, because it's just a tremendous skill to have. And not only that, it is absolutely so much fun to draw. Okay, I'm going to start doing some shading. You can start by that smaller part of the eyeball there. Top of his head, or her head, is going to be darker. It's fun to do these in watercolor because you can really go fast, but just move that pencil back and forth. Pick up the texture of whatever paper that you're using. Now, some of you've got 3D printers, and it's kind of like watching a 3D printer print something, only you're doing it. I have to sharpen that pencil, but I've got another one right close by at hand here. course, what I'm working for is, or the picture that I'm working from is very, very colorful, but don't worry about color yet. Like I say, I want you to feel really good about your drawing. And you're drawing from photos. Yes, that's important to be able to draw from photos, but as things move along here, I'm going to show you how to draw from life. And it really is the same thing. A drawing is drawing, whether it's from life or from photos. I want you to be very confident in your drawing, and I want you to be very accurate in your drawing. Some people, they get upset and they say, oh, I don't want to draw realistically, and I'm like, well, I'm not really talking about realism, I'm talking about accuracy. Something can be very abstract and loose, and as long as the placement of your marks and everything, it's accurate, it can be impressionistic or whatever. But I want you to be very, very confident and good with your drawing. And so many of you are showing me that when you post your pictures. I just created a Instagram page that you can post your pictures on. My own students, they posted at in Google Classroom, and that's awesome. But if you don't go to my school and you want to show me what you're doing, you can go to Raspor Art, Raspor Art, and that's on Facebook and it's on Instagram, and you can post your drawings, even of this fish, if you want. And if I have time or I'm checking it, I can give you some feedback. Some of you have been doing, I would say, better drawings than I have even. And you're just young, so it'll be interesting to see where you take your art, if you do anything with it or want to when you're older, because you're all ready. A lot of you are much stronger at your drawing than I was at your age. That squeakiness is my chair. Sorry, it's a squeaky old chair. Like I say, the wonderful thing about drawing is just sitting there drawing, and it totally relaxes at me. Even I find if I'm sick, I've done this for so long and I get such enjoyment out of it that I'll sit and I'll draw even if I'm sick, and I'll forget that I'm sick because I'm just into it. And that's what I want for you. Now, who showed me how to fish in general was my grandpa. He lived in a place called Thunder Bay near in Ontario, and he loved fishing so much, and was just thrilled when he started taking me out that someone was as into it as he was. And you know, sometimes we'd fish for days and not catch anything, but it didn't matter. We were outside and We enjoyed it. I wish everybody would catch a fish, or a big fish is even more exciting. It is just such a thrill, and like I say, it's just a lot of fun. I'm going to put his fin right about there. And my friend Carl paints and draws every little scale. If he were to see this, he would say, Paul, that's not even close to done. But I think that you're going to enjoy doing this. We don't have to have every little detail, but we should put spots on his, sorry, I said his, I don't know if it's male or female. If Carl was here, he would say, well, Paul, you can tell by the jaw, or you can tell by the snout if it's male or female, but I'm just not that advanced a scientist when it comes to fishing. All I know is that I love to do it, and so the details are not all that important to me, but drawing with accuracy is important to me. Now I try to draw as much as this so that you see every little bit, and I don't speed it up. I don't speed it up because I want you to see how long it takes to do a good drawing. I want you to put the effort in. Not only that, you know, I thought when I started doing this 4 episodes ago, I thought small children in particular aren't going to be able to sit through this. They're going to lose interest. They're not going to pay attention. Maybe they don't have the mind for it because they're used to video games or whatever. And nothing could be further from the truth. Even the kindergarten kids were able to sit through a whole video, do the whole thing. I'm a little bit disappointed that I can't get the music that I want because there's, you know, copyright, and YouTube is, but I understand it because I'm an artist too, and I don't want people profiting off my work, for hard work, for nothing. And but it is really nice to draw to music, and if you have Spotify and you're paying for your music, me and my students really like the music of Oscar Lopez. He's a local musician, and he's a good person to listen to while you're doing your work. Spanish guitar is really nice. And he told me that I could use one of his songs for when we are going to draw a flamingo at some point here. And his song is called Flight of the Flamingo. So we're going to listen to that when we're drawing that picture. I have no idea what fish are thinking, but if I did, then I'd probably catch a lot more than I do. But even the greatest fishermen have days when I don't catch them for whatever reason. Sometimes it seems like there's no reason, but I'm going to do some spots here. Rainbow trout's got a lot of spots. They have a kind of olive green back, and then right in here is quite red. Particularly if they're getting ready to spawn like they are right now. Beautiful colors. I've always wanted to catch a Arctic char, which is kind of like a trout up north, because they have beautiful, very beautiful red markings. Remember what I told you about if you want to show off the white of the rainbows or the shapes? Because I told you there's no lines really when you're drawing something from nature or life. Are no straight lines. They're usually, and nothing's outlined like a cartoon. Picture I'm working from, the rainbow trout, there's rocks behind it because I've got it kind of up on the bank in the water still, but on the bank. I'll show you that picture again. Okay, I've got to sharpen my pencils. I'll be right back. Okay, I've put a Kleenex under my hand here so that when I'm moving this way, that I don't smudge the drawing like if I don't want to. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to put some of the rocks that I can see from the photo that I'm working from. Like I say, I didn't harm this fish when I was fishing. I let him go. He was only out of the water for a few seconds. Actually, I'm glad that I got this picture that we can work from because I looked on the internet for some good trout photos and rainbow trout photos. I couldn't find many that were as good as the ones that I took, so I'm just going to indicate that there's some rocks. I could say if you're really interested in drawing fish, check out the work of Carl Geist. He is the master. I'll go grocery shopping with my wife in a few minutes because it won't be too busy, and there is a COVID virus right now, so you don't want to go to the grocery store when there's a lot of people there. Now, if you wanted to go super detailed, you could do every little scale. That's what my friend Carl would do. And he would I'm not going to do too many scales, but I am going to put in a few spots. Spots are kind of random. They'll go all the way down to a few on the sides here. But there won't be any in this area, there won't be any spots there. Definitely around the nose. I haven't got fancy pencils. I've just got a bunch sharpened of HB ones like this. Like I said, you can get about 10 of these at the dollar store. So but like I say, I want you guys to get, or the students, I'd like you to get really good at this. And then when you do have fancier pencils and all that jazz, you'll even be better because you'll be able to do a lot just with this. Just in your sketchbook, if you've got one. Kind of smooth the river stones in here. so I'm going to wrap this up. And it is, what is the date here today? I'm going to just look on my phone here. It is 17th, Friday the 17th. So it's the 17th of April, January, February, March, April, 04, 20. I'm going to write Bow River Rainbow. Because that's what it is. My signature. You guys can practice your signature. And I think that about wraps it up. Real smile. This is a fake smile. That's for the cameras.